A few years back, I made this video talking about re-editing Obi-Wan's and Vader's first fight in the Kenobi show. A fair few things bugged me about the duel, and I wanted to see if I could tidy it up while still retaining most of the structure of the episode by rejigging a few things and adding some music here and there, and this is the result.
The years have made you weak. You should have killed me when you had the chance. You cannot run, Obi-Wan. Suffer, Obi-Wan. Your pain has just begun.
Let's start with what I wanted to fix in the sequence. What were my problems? Well, I didn't like the fact that Obi-Wan seemed to be constantly running away from Darth Vader. First sequence, when he ran away, I thought it was to draw attention away from the townsfolk, because Vader's just, you know, cracking necks of kids. But then he finally confronts Vader, and he runs away, and it is awful. The build-up of suspense and tension evaporates. It is comical, and I'm gonna play that clip raw for you, just so you can see it. So back in Premiere Pro, I drag the sequence in and I start to cut it up. As you can see, I have the A plot line, which is what I call the Obi-Wan and Vader sequence, and then I have the B plot line, which is the Reva and Leia segment. The reason I did this was I needed to see if what I was going to do would slot back into the episode. For me, there was no point in extracting the saber sequence and manipulating it without it being able to go back into the episode. I wanted to prove a point that you could have edited this better and it would not disrupt or destroy the episode. Let's start off with the beginning, and in my version of events, Obi-Wan's confronted by Vader and he looks back. This was his moment to escape, but he decides, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to fight off Vader. So he pulls out the lightsaber, and I add a sound effect of the lightsaber reigniting. It's a smooth way to transition between scenes. And then you've got the first sequence of Reva and Leia. So she's going to go in and find out where the secret room is, blah blah blah. The second sequence of Obi-Wan, it starts off the combat already happening. In the earlier version of this, I actually had a little snippet of Obi-Wan and Vader talking. It was lines from earlier on or later on in the episode where Obi-Wan says, "What have you become?" And Vader retorts with, "I am what you made me." I initially really liked that moment, but the way Obi-Wan looks in the shot, he looks too clean compared to how unshoveled he looks fighting Vader. His hair's all over the place, whilst this shot, because it's from a different sequence, doesn't fit in as well. Whilst with Vader, you're able to overlay lines because there's no face to sync up. But with Obi-Wan, it's much trickier, and ultimately in the version you've watched today, I cut that little sequence out, but I've left it in this video to explain the thought process.
The years have made you weak.
What have you become?
I am what you made me.
And now you've got the two Reva and Leia scenes that are stitched together. Here you can see where the original one would have ended. Right, so she's running, we just carry on with Reva instead of going back to Obi-Wan. And I wait for this to end, and now we're back to Obi-Wan and Vader, and they're fighting again. And you'll see how I've took elements from earlier on in the episode and reused them here. And I personally think it flows much better. This sequence where Obi-Wan and Vader are fighting, it's not going Obi-Wan's way. Vader uses the Force to push him back, and Obi-Wan tries to escape by causing some smoke from a pipe to blow. And we cut to him running away here. You've got that awesome line from Vader where he says you can't run away, you can't escape. And Obi-Wan's trying to see where he is. You've got that horror story element, and then because I skipped continuity school, I cut to this shot of Obi-Wan to establish he's in this location where Vader's going to show up, and this is where the end of the duel happens. This all happens as it is in the episode, apart from some sprinkling of some other shots. And now, whilst the music of the episode was fine, I wanted to go a step further, so I wanted to change a few things, and I thought the music from Return of the Jedi at the very end with Luke versus Vader, it's a very sad piece, and I thought it would be very appropriate to layer over Obi-Wan being roasted by Vader. But then I fell down the rabbit hole and didn't stop there, and so I went through the entire sequence and started re-adding different music. And I found this guy on YouTube called Samuel Kim. He does lots of remixes of various themes from anime, Star Wars, etc. And he had this great combination of Battle of the Heroes and the Imperial March, and I was like, yep, that'll do it for me. So I spliced some of that in, and you heard it earlier.
Now you will suffer, Obi-Wan.
And now we're at the end, and initially when I heard Obi-Wan being dragged through the fire, his screaming kind of reminded me of Anakin's. So I couldn't help myself, and I probably should have had a bit more restraint, but I started sprinkling in some little quick shots of Anakin being roasted and overlaying it with Obi-Wan. I'm undecided on what I feel about that, because usually I don't like to be so in your face with reminders or remember this, but for me it just felt right at the time, so I slotted that in. And thank you for making it this far in the video. That's about all. Initially I wanted to do a re-edit of the Kenobi series. I wasn't sure if you could salvage it because there's only so much you can do in editing, and you're basically working with the pieces that are given to you. There are some more advanced editors out there who dabble in VFX, who are doing their own fan cuts of the film. I'm not sure where the guy called Joker, I think it was, I don't know where he's ended up with his version, but he was really going far, like CGI, comping, he was putting new effect shots in this thing. So I'd be curious where he ends up, but it was a fun exercise to do this, and I hope you enjoyed.